네, 안녕하십니까. 영어 수동 연습 130불자 시작해 보도록 하겠습니다. 네, 오늘은 드디어 이제 아놀드 슈왈제네거 영상은 끝마치고 오늘은 이제 오바마 영상 한번 처음부터 들으면서 한번 따라해 보겠습니다. 이제 자막을 좀 가리고요. 자막을 좀 가리고 한번 생각을 해보겠습니다. 일단 오바마 영상을 틀어볼까요?
제가 처음 시행할 때 5억을 가지고 200억을 넘게 벌었어요. 로또요? 로또 확률?
But at the end of the day, the
그래서 이제 오늘부터는 오바마 영상을 이제 들으면서 알아볼 때 자막은 좀 가려놓고 이제 한 문장씩 들어야겠죠. 네. 어느 정도 좀 외우는 상태여서 But at the end of the day, but at the end of the day,
the circumstances of your life,
the circumstances, the circumstances, the circumstances of your life,
what you look like,
what you look like,
where you come from,
where you come from,
how much money you have,
how much money you have, money you have, money you have, money you have,
what you've got going on at
what you got going on at home, what you got going on at home.
home. None of that is an excuse.
None of that is an excuse.
There is no excuse
There is no excuse
for not trying.
for not trying.
I've given a lot of speeches about education.
I've given a lot of speeches. I've given a lot of speeches about education.
I've talked about
I've talked about. I've talked about. I have talked about. I've talked about
responsibility
responsibility. I've talked about responsibility
a lot.
a lot.
I've talked about
I've talked about
teachers'
teachers'
responsibility.
responsibility. I've given a lot of speeches about education. I've talked about responsibility a lot. I've talked about teachers' responsibility
For inspiring students
for inspiring students
and pushing you to learn.
and pushing you to learn. Pushing you to learn.
I talked about your parents'
I've talked about your parents'
responsibility
responsibility
for making sure you stay on track.
for making sure you stay on track, for making sure you stay on, for making sure you stay on track, for making sure you stay on track.
You get your homework done.
You get your homework done. You get your homework done.
Don't spend every waking hour in front of
Don't spend every waking hour in front of
the TV or
in front of in front of the TV or
with the Xbox.
with the Xbox, with the Xbox, with the Xbox.
I've talked a lot about
I've talked a lot about
your government's responsibility
your government's responsibility
for setting high standards
for setting high standards, for setting high standards,
and supporting teachers,
and supporting teachers, and supporting teachers,
principals, and turning
for supporting teachers and principals, and
around schools that aren't working,
turning around schools that are working,
where students aren't getting the opportunity
where students are getting the opportunity that they're
that they deserve.
opportunities that they deserve, opportunities that they deserve, where students where students aren't getting the opportunities that they deserve,
But at the end of the day,
But at the end of the day, but at the end of the day, but at the end of the day,
we can have the most dedicated teachers,
we can have the most dedicated teachers. We can have the most dedicated.
aren't getting the opportunities that they deserve. But at the end of the day, we can have the most dedicated teachers,
We can have the most dedicated teachers. We can have the most we can have the most dedicated teachers.
the most
the most supportive parents,
the best schools in the world,
the best schools the best schools in the world,
and none of it will
and none of it will
make a difference
none of it will make a difference. None of it and anymore none of it will make a difference.
None of it will matter
None of it will matter
unless all of you fulfill
unless all of you fulfill
your responsibility.
your responsibility. Unless all of you fulfill your responsibility.
Unless you show up to those schools
Unless you show up to those schools. Unless you show up to those schools. Unless you show up to those schools.
unless you pay attention to those teachers,
Unless you pay attention to those teachers.
unless you listen to your parents,
Unless you listen to your parent your unless you listen to your parents. Unless you listen to your parents. Unless you listen to
the
your
schools, unless you pay attention to those teachers, unless you listen to your parents, those
unless you listen to your parents.
schools, unless you pay attention to those
Unless you pay attention to those schools.
teachers,
Teachers.
unless you
You-
listen to your parents,
Listen to your unless you listen to unless you listen to your parents
parents and
and
grandparents and other
grandparents
adults,
and other
and
adults,
put in the hard work it takes to succeed.
and put in the hard work. Put in the hard work.
Grandparents and other adults, and put in the hard work it takes
And put in the hard work it takes. Put in the hard work. Put in the hard work. 열심히 하다, 최선을 다하다. Put in the hard work. It takes. Put in the hard work it takes
to succeed.
to succeed.
That's what I want to focus on today.
That's what I want to focus on today. That's what I want to focus on today. That's what I want to focus on today. That's what I want to focus on today. That's what I want to focus on today. That's what I want to focus on today.
The responsibility each of you has
There,
to succeed. That's what I want to focus on today.
that's what I want to focus on today. That's what I want to focus on today.
The responsibility each of you has
The responsibility each of you has
to succeed. That's what I want to focus on today. The responsibility each of you has
the responsibility each of you has
for your education.
for your education.
I want to start with the responsibility
I want to start with the responsibility
each of you has for your education. I want to start with the responsibility
with your responsibility I want to start with your I want to start with your responsibility. I want to start with your responsibility
you have to yourself as for your education. I want to start with the responsibility you have to yourself
responsibility you have. I want to start with your responsibility
as for your education. I want to start with the responsibility you have to yourself
I want to start with your responsibility you have to yourself. I want to start with your responsibility responsibility you have to yourself.
as for your education. I want to start with the responsibility you have to
With the responsibility you have to yourself.
each of you has for your education. I want to start with the responsibility you have to
I want to start with the responsibility you have
yourself.
to yourself.
Every
I want to start with the responsibility you have to yourself.
for your education. I want to start with the responsibility you have to yourself.
I want to start with the responsibility you have to yourself.
Every single one of you has something that you're good at.
Every single one of you has something that you are good at. Every single one of you has something that you are good at. Has something that you are good at.
Every single one of you has something to offer.
Every single one of you has something to offer.
You have a responsibility to yourself
You have a responsibility to yourself You have responsibility to yourself
to discover what that is.
to discover what that is. To discover what that is. You have the responsibility. You have responsibility to yourself to discover what that is.
That's the opportunity an education can provide
That's the opportunity.
to yourself to discover what that is. That's the opportunity an education can provide.
That's the opportunity. That's the opportunity. That's the opportunity an education can provide.
Self to discover what that is. That's the opportunity an education can provide.
An education can provide. That's the opportunity. That's the opportunity an education can provide.
Maybe you could be a great
Maybe you could be a
writer.
great writer. Great writer. Maybe you could be a great writer.
That's the opportunity an education can provide.
That's the opportunity an education can provide.
Maybe you could be a great writer.
Maybe you could be a great writer.
Maybe even good enough to write a book.
Maybe you're even good enough. Maybe you're even good enough. Maybe you're even good enough to write a book.
Provide. Maybe you could be a great writer.
Maybe you could be a great writer.
Maybe even good enough to write a book.
Maybe even good enough to write a book
Or articles in a newspaper.
or articles in newspaper. Maybe you're even good enough to write a book or articles in newspaper.
But you might not know it.
But you might not know it. But you might not know it.
Maybe you could be an innovator or an inventor.
Maybe you could be an innovator or an inventor.
Articles in a newspaper, but you might not know it. Maybe you could be an innovator
Maybe you could be an innovator. Maybe you could be an innovator
or an inventor. Maybe
or an inventor. Maybe
be even good enough to come up
maybe you could be even good enough to come up
with the next iPhone or
with a next iPhone
with a new medicine or vaccine. Or an inventor, maybe even good enough to come up with the next iPhone or the new medicine or vaccine.
or maybe the next iPhone or the maybe iPhone or maybe next iPhone or the new medicine or vaccine.
Or an inventor, maybe even good enough to
Maybe even good enough to.
but you might not know it. Maybe you could be an innovator
Maybe you could be an
or
innovator
an inventor,
or
maybe
inventor.
even good
Maybe
enough to come up
maybe even good enough to come up
with the next iPhone or the
with the next iPhone or
new medicine or vaccine.
new medicine or vaccine.
An inventor, maybe even good enough to come up with the next iPhone or the new medicine or vaccine.
Or new medicine or
Inventor, maybe even good enough to come up with the next iPhone or the new medicine or
or the new medicine or vaccine.
vaccine. But you
Maybe you could
enough to
be
come up with the next iPhone or
maybe even good enough to come up with a next iPhone or the medicine or vaccine.
the new medicine or vaccine.
New medicine or vaccine.
Inventor, maybe even good enough to come up
Maybe even good enough to come up
with the
with
next
an
iPhone or the new medicine or vaccine.
Maybe come up with the next iPhone or the new medicine or vaccine.
Inventor, maybe
You
even
could
good
be
enough to
able to
come up
come up
with the
with
next
an
iPhone or
iPhone
the
or
new medicine or
or the new
innovator or an inventor, maybe even good enough to come up with the next iPhone
with the next iPhone
or the new medicine or vaccine. Or an inventor, maybe even good enough to come up with the next iPhone or the new medicine or vaccine.
new medicine or vaccine
Inventor, maybe even good enough to come up with the next iPhone or the new medicine.
or the new medicine or the new medicine or the new medicine or the new medicine the new medicine
Innovator or an inventor, maybe even good enough to
maybe even good enough to come up
come up with the next iPhone or the new medicine or vaccine.
or maybe even good enough to come up with the next iPhone or the new medicine or vaccine.
An inventor, maybe even good
Good
enough
enough
to come
to
up
maybe even good enough to come up maybe even good enough to come up
with the next
with the
iPhone
next
or the new
iPhone
medicine
or
or
the new
vaccine.
medicine or
But you
vaccine.
might not know it with the next iPhone or the new medicine or vaccine. But you might not know
But you might not know it
it until you do your project
until you do a project
for your science class.
for your science class. Until you do a project for your science class.
Maybe you could be a mayor.
Maybe you could be a mayor
or a senator,
or senator
or a Supreme Court
or a Supreme Court
justice. But
justice.
you might not know that
But you might not know that
until you join student
until you join student
government
government, until you join student government
or the debate team.
or the debate team or the debate team
And no matter what you want to do with your
or whatever
until you join student government or the debate team. And no matter what you want to do with
what you do with want to no matter what you do it want to
your life, until you join student government or the debate team. And no matter what you want to do with your life,
no matter what you want to do with your life
you join student government or the debate team. And no matter what you want to do with your life,
do with your life no matter what you do
until you join student government or the debate team. And no matter what you want to do with your life,
and no matter what you do with your life
until you join student government or the debate team. And no matter what you want to do with your life,
no matter what you want to do with your life no matter what you want to do with your life
I guarantee,
I
that you'll
guarantee
need an education to do it.
that you'll need an education to do it.
And no matter what you want to do with your
No matter what you do, no matter what you do with want to do it, do, no matter what you want to do with your life,
until you join student government
no
or
matter,
the debate team. And no matter what you want to do with your life,
no matter what you want to do with your life,
I guarantee that you'll need an education to do it.
that you'll need the education to do it. That you'll need education to do it.
And no matter what you want to do with your
No matter what you want to do with your life,
life, I guarantee that you'll need an education to do it.
that you'll need education to do it. That you'll need education to do it. That you'll need it.
And no matter what you want to do with your life, I guarantee that you'll need an education to
That you'll need an education to do it.
debate team. And no matter what you want to do with your life, I guarantee that you'll need an education to do it.
You'll need education to do it. You'll need an education.
And no matter what you want to do with your
no matter what you want to do with your life,
life, I guarantee
I guarantee
that you'll need an education to do it.
that you're need an education to need an
And no matter what you want to do with your life, I guarantee that you'll need an education to do it.
need an education to do it. That you'll need an I guarantee that you'll need that you'll need an education to do it.
You want, no matter what you,
You
want to do with your life, I
I
guarantee
guarantee
that you'll need an education to do it.
that you'll need an education to it. Need an education to do it.
You want to be a doctor
You want to be a doctor
or a teacher
or a teacher
a police officer.
or a police officer or a police officer.
You want to be a nurse or an architect,
You want to be a nurse or an architect
a lawyer or a member of
or lawyer and member of
our military.
our military.
You're going to need a good education.
You're gonna need good education. You're gonna need good education. You're gonna need a good education.
A lawyer or a member of our military. You're going to need a good education
You're gonna need a good education
for every single one of those careers.
for every single one of those careers.
Member of our military. You're going to need a good education
You're gonna need a good education
for every single one of those
for every single one of those careers.
You cannot drop out of school
You cannot drop out of school
and just drop into a good
and just drop into a good job.
job. You've got to train for it.
You got to train for it. You got to train for it. You got to train for it,
And work for it.
rock for it,
And learn for it.
and learn for it. You got to train for it, and rock for it, and learn for it. Rock for it. Rock for. You got to train for it, rock for it, and learn for it. Okay.
This isn't just important for your own life.
This isn't just informed for your own life. This isn't just informed for. This isn't just informed for your own life. and your own future, and your own future.
Work for it and learn for it.
This
This
isn't
isn't
just
just important for your
this isn't just important for your own life,
own life and your own future.
your own life and your own future, your own life and your own future, your own life and your own future.
Work for it and learn for it. And this isn't just important
And this isn't just important for your own life
for
and
your
your
own
own
life and your own future.
your own life and your own future, your own life and your own future, your own life and your own future. This isn't just a, this isn't just important for your own life and your own future.
What you make of your education will
When you make up
and this isn't just important for your own life and your own future. What you make of your education will
when you make up your education,
and this isn't just important for your own life and your own future. What you make of your education
when you make up your education,
will decide nothing less
will decide nothing less, will decide nothing less,
than the future of this country.
nothing less than the future of this country. When you make up your education, we decide nothing less than
What you make of your education will decide.
what make when you make
This
up
isn't just important for your own life and your own future. What you make of your education will decide.
when you make up your education, will decide.
This isn't just important for your own life and
This isn't just important for your own life.
your own future.
This isn't just important for your own life and your own future and your own future and your own future. Your own life and your own future. This isn't just important for your own life and your own future.
What you make of your education
When you make your education, when you make of your education, when you make of your when you make of your education, when you make of your education, when you make of your
will
education,
decide nothing less than the for your own life and your own future. What you make of your education
when you make of your education,
will decide nothing less
will decide nothing less
than the future of this country.
than the future of this country. When you make of your education, nothing.
What you
When
make of your education will decide nothing less than the future of this country.
When you make your education, when you make your education, when you make of your education, we decide nothing less than the future of this country.
What you make of your education will decide nothing less than the future of this
than the
country.
future of this country. When you make up your education, we decide nothing less than the future of this country.
What
When you make
of
up your
your
education,
will-
when you make up your education, when you make up your education,
This
when you-
isn't just important for your own life and your own future.
this isn't just important for your own life and your own future.
Work for it. You make of your education
When you make up your education,
will decide
we
nothing
decide
less
nothing
than
less than the
future
future of this country. When you make up your education, we decide when you make up your education, we decide nothing less than the future of this country. When you make up your education, when you make up your education, we decide nothing less, nothing less, nothing less than the future of this country. When you make of when you make of when you what you when you make when you make of your when you make of your education, we decide nothing less than the future of this country. When you make of your education, we decide nothing less than the future of this country. Future of this country. When you make of your decide, when you make of your education, we decide nothing less than the future of this country.
The future of America depends on you.
The future of America depends on you.
What you're learning in school today will determine what
When you make, when you
the
learn,
future of America depends on you. What you're learning in school today
what you're learning.
The future of America depends on you. What you're learning in school today will
What you are learning in school today. What you are learning in school today. What you are learning in school today. What you are learning.
the future of America depends on you. What you're learning in school today
What you are learning in school today.
will determine whether we as a nation
What you are learning in school today will determine
depends on you. What you're learning in school today will determine whether we
what you are learning in school today will determine whether we
as a nation
as a
can meet
nation
our
as a nation can meet our
greatest challenges in the future.
greatest challenges in the future.
Will determine whether we as a nation
Whether we as a nation
can meet our
can meet our
greatest challenges in the future.
greatest Greatest challenges in the future. Greatest challenges in the future.
will determine whether the future of America depends on
Future. The future of America depends on you.
you. What you're learning in school today
What you are learning in school today
will
will
determine
determine whether we,
as a nation,
can meet our
greatest challenges in the
greatest
future.
challenges in the
You'll
future.
need the knowledge and problem-solving skills
You'll need a knowledge of problem-solving skills. You'll need
to meet our greatest challenges in the future. You'll need the knowledge and problem-solving
you'll need a knowledge and problem.
skills
You'll need the knowledge and problem-solving skills.
you learn in science and math
You learn in science and math. You'll need the knowledge and problem-solving skills. You learn in science and math
to cure diseases like cancer and AIDS.
to cure diseases, like cancer and AIDS. To cure diseases like cancer and AIDS.
And to develop new energy technology
And to develop and to develop and to develop and to develop and to develop
science and math to cure diseases like cancer and AIDS.
the cancer and AIDS.
And to develop new energy
And to develop new energy
technologies
and to develop new energy technologies and to develop new energy technologies
to protect our environment.
and protect our environment
Diseases like cancer and AIDS.
to cure diseases like cancer and AIDS
And to develop new energy technology
and to develop new energy technology
to protect our environment.
technologies and protect our environment protect our environment
To cure diseases
to cure diseases
like cancer and AIDS.
like cancer and AIDS
And to develop new energy technology
and to develop new energy technologies
to protect our environment.
and protect our environment.
You'll need the insights and critical thinking skills.
You'll need an insight. You'll need an insight.
Develop new energy technologies and protect our environment. You'll need the insights
You'll need the insight.
and critical thinking skills. Develop new energy technologies and protect our environment. You'll need the insights and critical thinking skills.
You'll need the insights and critical. You'll need the insights and critical thinking skills. You'll need the insights and critical thinking skills.
Skills you gain in history and
You gain in history and
social studies.
you gain in history and social studies.
You'll need the
Science
insights and
and
critical thinking skills
you
gain in history and social studies.
You'll need the insights and critical thinking skills you gain in history and you gain in history and social studies.
To fight poverty and homelessness.
For five poverty and homelessness,
Crime and discrimination.
crime and discrimination,
And make our nation more fair and more free.
and make our nation more free and more.
You'll need the
fair.
creativity and
You need a creativity. You need a creativity
ingenuity
and ingenuity.
you develop in all your
Ingenuity you develop in all your classes to
build new companies.
all your classes to develop your own
Don't
companies.
create new jobs. And ingenuity you develop in all your classes
You develop in all your class
more fair and more free.
for free.
You'll need the creativity
You'll need your
discrimination and make our nation more fair and more free.
or
You'll need the creativity and ingenuity
you'll need the creativity and ingenuity
you develop in all your classes fair and more free. You'll need the creativity and ingenuity
you'll need the creativity and you'll need the creativity and ingenuity
you develop in all your classes
you develop in all your class.
to build new companies.
You develop in all your classes.
You'll need the creativity and ingenuity
You need the creativity and ingenuity
you develop in all your
you develop in all your classes
classes to build new companies.
to build. You develop in your all classes. You do all classes to to build new companies.
You'll need the creativity and ingenuity you develop in all your classes to build new companies.
Classes to build new companies. To build new companies.
You'll need the
Creativity
creativity and
and
ingenuity you
ingenuity
develop in all your classes to build new companies.
You'll need the creativity and ingenuity you develop in all your classes to build new companies.
They'll create new jobs and boost our
That will create new jobs.
ingenuity you develop in all your classes to build new companies. They'll create new jobs and boost our ingenuity you develop in all your classes to build new companies. They'll create new jobs.
That will create new jobs. That will create new jobs. That will create new jobs.
And ingenuity you develop in all your classes to build new companies. They'll create new jobs.
That will create that will cool that will create new jobs.
And boost our economy. Develop in all your classes to build new companies. They'll create new jobs and boost our economy.
That will create new jobs and boost your
Develop in all your classes to build new companies. They'll create new jobs and boost our economy.
that will create new jobs and boost our economy. That will create new jobs and boost our economy. That will create new jobs and boost our economy. That will create new jobs. That will create new jobs and boost our economy. That will create new jobs and boost our economy. To build new company. That will create new jobs and boost our economy.
We need every single one of you to develop your talent,
We need every single one of you to develop your talent.
create new jobs and boost our economy. We need every single one of you to develop your talents
We need every single one of you to develop your talent,
and your skills
talents
and
and
your
your
intellect
skills and
so you can
intellect, so you can
help us old
help
folks
us
solve
old folks
our
solve
most difficult problems.
our most
If you
difficult
don't do
problem.
that,
If you don't do that,
if you quit on school,
if you quit on school,
you're not just quitting on yourself,
you're not just quitting on yourself,
you're quitting on your country.
you're quitting on your country.
I know it's not always easy to do well in school.
I know it's always easy to do well in school.
I know a lot of you have challenges in your
I know what I know a lot of you have challenges.
quitting on your country. I know it's not always easy to do well in school. I know a lot of you have challenges in
I know a lot of you have challenges
your lives right now.
in your lives right now.
They can make it hard to focus on
They can make it hard. They can make it hard to focus on right now.
your schoolwork. A lot of you have challenges in your lives right now. They can make it hard to focus on your
They can make it hard to focus on.
schoolwork. I know a lot of you have challenges in your lives right now. They can make it hard to focus on your schoolwork.
They can make it hard to focus on your schoolwork.
I get it. I know what it's like.
I get it. I know what it's like. I get it. I know what it's like.
My father left my family when I was 2 years old.
My father left my family when I was 2 years old. My father left my family when I was 2 years old.
I was raised by a single mom.
I was raised by my single mom. I was raised by my single mom.
What it's like. My father left my family when I was 2 years
My father left my family when I was 2 years old.
old. I was raised by a single mom
I was raised by a single mom. By a single mom
who had to work
who had to work
and who struggled at times to pay
and struggled at times.
the bills and wasn't all. I was raised by a single mom who had to work and who struggled at times to pay the bills
was- who struggled at times to pay the bills
and wasn't always able to give us
and wasn't able to give us
things that other kids had.
the things that other kids had.
There were times when I missed
There were times when I missed
having a father in my life.
having a father in my life.
There were times when I was lonely.
There was times when I was lonely.
There were times when I missed having a father in my life.
There were times when I missed having a father in my life.
There were times when I was lonely
There were times when I was lonely,
and I felt like I didn't fit in.
and I was lonely, and I felt like I didn't fit in, and I felt like I didn't fit in, and I felt like I didn't fit in.
So I wasn't always as focused as I should have been.
So I wasn't always to focus. So I wasn't always as focused as.
There were times when I was lonely and I felt like I didn't fit in. So I wasn't always as focused as
always as focused as
I should have been on school. I was lonely and I felt like I didn't fit in. So I wasn't always as focused as I should have been on.
so I wasn't always as focused as I should have been on school.
There were times when I was lonely and I felt like I didn't fit in. So I wasn't always as
So I was always as
focused as I should have
focused as I should have
been on school.
focused as I should have been on school. So I was always as focused as I should have focused as I should have been on school. So I was always as focused as should have.
When I was lonely and I felt like I didn't fit in. So I wasn't always as focused
So I was always as focused as I should have focused as I should have been on school.
in my life. There were times when I was lonely and I felt like I didn't.
There are times when I was lonely, and I felt like I thought. There were times when I was lonely.
Times when I missed having a father in my life. There were times when I was lonely
There were times when I was lonely,
and I felt like I didn't fit in.
and I felt like I didn't fit in. And I felt like I didn't fit in. And I felt like I didn't fit in. I felt like I didn't fit in. I felt like I didn't fit in.
So I wasn't always as focused as I should have been on
So so I was always as so I wasn't always as focused as I should have been at school.
school. And I was lonely and I felt like I didn't fit in. So I wasn't always as focused as I should have
So I was always as focused as I should have been at school.
been on school. And I did some things that I'm not proud of.
I did some things I'm not proud of.
I got in more trouble than
I got more trouble
because I should have been on school. And I did some things that I'm not proud of. And I got in more trouble than I should have.
I got in more trouble than I should have. I got in more trouble than I should have.
And my life could have easily taken
And my life could have easily taken
a turn for the worse.
a turn for the worse.
But I was lucky.
But I was lucky.
I got a lot of second chances.
I got a lot of second chances.
And I had the opportunity to go to college.
And I had
But I was lucky. I got a lot of second chances. And I had the opportunity to go to college.
and I had the opportunity to go to college. And I had the opportunity to go and I had the opportunity to go to college.
But I was lucky. I got a lot of second chances. And I had the opportunity to go to college.
And I had the opportunity to go to college. And I had the opportunity to go to college. Opportunity to go to college. To go to college.
In law school. I was lucky. I got a lot of second chances. And I had the opportunity to go to college and law school.
And I had the opportunity to go to college and law school
Follow my dreams.
and follow my dreams.
My wife, our First Lady, Michelle Obama,
My wife, First Lady Michelle Obama,
she has a similar story.
she has similar stories.
Neither of her parents had gone to college.
Neither of her parents had gone to college,
And they didn't have a lot of money.
and they didn't have none of money. And they didn't have a lot of money.
But they worked hard,
And they worked hard,
she worked hard so
and she worked hard,
that she could go to the best school
and she could go to the best schools,
in this country.
and she could go to the best school. And
But
she
they worked
could go-
hard, and she worked
But they worked hard, and she worked
so
hard,
that she could go to the best.
so that she could go to the best schools.
And they didn't have a lot of money. But they worked hard, and she worked hard so that she could go to the best
So that she could go to the best schools
schools in this country.
in this country.
Some of you might not have those
Some of you might not have those.
advantages. Maybe
Some of you have not. Some of you have not had. Some of you.
so that she could go to the best schools in this country. Some of you might not have
Some of you might not have.
those advantages.
Some of you might not have those advantages.
Maybe you don't have
Maybe you don't have
adults in your life
adults in your life
who give you the support that you need.
who give you the support that you need.
Maybe someone in your family is
Maybe you're someone you. Maybe you're some.
have adults in your life who give you the support that you need. Maybe someone in your family has
Maybe someone in your families
lost their job.
lost their job.
Adults in your life who give you the support that you need. Maybe someone in your family has lost their job.
Families. Maybe someone in your family has lost your job.
Adults in your life who give you the support that you need. Maybe someone in your family has lost their job,
maybe someone in your family has lost their job,
and there's not enough money to go around.
and there's not
Give you the support that you need. Maybe someone in your family has lost their
family has families. Maybe someone in your family has lost your job.
adults in your life who give you the support that you need.
Adults in your life who give you the support that you need.
Maybe someone in your family has lost
Maybe someone in your family maybe someone in your family has
their job, and there's
lost their jobs,
not enough money to go around.
and there's not
Give you the support that you need. Maybe someone in your family has lost their job, and there's not enough money to go around.
and there's not enough money for and there's not enough money for
Give you the support that you need. Maybe someone in your family has lost their
maybe someone in your family has lost their job,
job, and there's not enough money to go around.
and there's not enough money to go around, 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 and there's not enough money to go around.
Maybe you live in a neighborhood
Maybe you live in a neighborhood. Maybe you live in a neighborhood
where you don't feel safe.
where you don't feel safe. Where you don't feel safe. Where you don't feel safe.
Or have friends who are pressuring you
Or have friends who pressure you
to do things.
who pressure you to do things. You do things. Maybe you have friends who who
You know aren't right. Where you don't feel safe. Or have friends who are pressuring you to do things.
who are pressuring you to who are pressuring you to do things
You know aren't right.
you know are right. You know are right.
But at the end of the day,
But at the end of the day, but at the end of the day, but at the end of the day, but at the end of the day, but at the end of the day,
the circumstances of your
the
life,
circumstances
what
of
you
your
look
life,
like,
when you
where
look
you
like,
come
where you
from,
come from, how much money you have,
what you've got going
what
on
you got
at home,
going on at home,
none of that is an excuse for neglecting your homework or
for neglecting your homework,
for having a bad attitude
for having a bad attitude,
in school.
in school.
That's no excuse
There's no excuse
for talking back to your teacher,
talking back to your teacher,
or cutting class, or
cutting class, and
dropping out of school.
dropping out of school.
There is no excuse
There is no there is no there is there is no excuse. There is no excuse
for not trying.
for not
Where you
trying.
are right now doesn't have to determine
Where you are right now doesn't have to determine
where you'll end up.
doesn't have to determine where you are ending. 네, 오늘 여기까지 하겠습니다. 감사합니다.